Northwest Indiana. News, sports, education, and entertainment. Wake Up GI with Jeffrey Smith. Brought to you by the Geary Community Schools Corporation.
All right, everybody, we are back. It's a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday. We're at the top of the hour, maybe a couple of minutes after, on the 16th of November, 2022. And this is Wake Up GI with Jeffrey Smith. Now, you've been hearing me talk about the approaching holidays. I'm not just talking about Thanksgiving. I'm talking about Christmas. I call them the feasting holidays. These are holidays that pretty much revolve around food. And so what better way to bring in the holidays than to talk about food? As I was teasing a little bit earlier, we have a wonderful couple that I get the opportunity to meet right now, and so do you, who are proprietors of a wonderful establishment in Schererville. It's called Dickey's Barbecue, and they are the Reed family. So I want to just go ahead and get into it. Good afternoon. Good morning. Introduce yourselves.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Diane Canton Reed, and I'm the co-owner of Dickey's Barbecue Pit in Schererville, Indiana.
See, I like this because he knows exactly how the rules. Women first. So we'll go over here to the wonderful husband.
Good morning. Llewellyn Reed, also a co-owner of Dickey's Barbecue in Schererville.
Yeah. Well, first of all, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day, because I can just tell you as a hack at home, making barbecue is a serious full-time business. And so for you to kind of start your day off, you're open today, aren't you?
Yes,
exactly.
We're open every day.
Exactly. So I don't even want to ask you when the grill gets going and make that tender meat. So like I said, I'm a hack. So I appreciate you taking time off. Give us a little bit of background about both of yourselves. And obviously, I don't know. I mean, were you doing something else? Were you always restaurateurs, or how did you fall into this?
You go first.
Well, career-wise, I've been in the quote-unquote oil industry for roughly 24 years.
Explain that. What's the oil industry? Oil and gas?
Oil and gas.
Yeah.
Yes. And I guess for me, how I say it, I woke up in 2016 in terms of becoming business-minded, becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Establishing a mission and vision for my bloodline out until, like, say, 2095.
Right.
To build generational wealth. So the mindset, the vision started from back then,
right.
A journey to find something. And
now, was there a trigger that happened? Because you said 2016, which is, I'll give you credit, because a lot of people that I've talked to as of late who have started businesses, it was the pandemic that kind of triggered them, because the world shut down. There was a lot of uncertainty. And so people were trying to, families were sitting around the kitchen table and going into their savings, and they say, look, how about that hobby that we love so much? Let's try that. And you saw a lot of businesses born of that. But you were doing this 4 years ahead of that. So what was that triggering moment for you?
The trigger is to build generational wealth, because regardless of what degrees any adult parent may have, you can't pass it on to your kid.
Yeah, I like that.
Regardless of what salary you make
yeah.
at your job or with your employer, you can't pass it on to your kids.
Yeah.
You can pass on a business. You can pass on real estate. You can pass on, generational wealth to the bloodline.
Now,
so that's the thought process.
Now, give me a little bit of background. Where were you originally from? Were you born and raised in Northwest Indiana, or what?
No, fate brought us here.
Yes.
So we're originally from St. Croix, the USVI.
I heard that accent.
Yeah. And we've been here in Maryville now for about 10 years.
Yeah.
So, like I said, fate brought us here. It's a leap of faith to actually come to the Midwest, because
that's
searching for a job.
Yeah.
So when my refinery shut down, we're searching for a job.
So you were over Whiting, I assume,
yes.
or working around there, oil and gas, man, of that. So were you? I mean, coming from St. Croix, man, you walked into the coldest, one of the coldest places in the country.
Oh yes.
Well, for me, I like it. It's like living in a life-size AC. Being home in the tropics, where the weather is always like 83.
Yeah.
88,
nobody's feeling sorry for you when you're saying that right now. It's just always 83. I can't stand it. Yeah. So you obviously your job brought you here. You all started to create a life. You put your roots down, and as you said, I just want to give you credit, because that's very forward thinking. You said, you know what, I want to start to kind of think about passing this on, and so I want to build something that's ours instead of just working for somebody.
Right. And it's not just for me. I want to build a sense of community, because when I was searching, I drove through Gary, I drove through different locations to find establishments to support, and there was little to none for the most part. So it's not just for me and my bloodline, it's for the community as well.
Now let's go over. Let's go over to your lovely wife, and let's hear her side of the story. Now, so tell me a little bit about your background and how you came to this.
Okay, well, my degree is in business administration,
and you're from St. Croix as
yes,
well.
born and raised.
Okay, nice.
So are our two kids, our
Yes.
two girls, born and raised. We just like Lou said, we a leap of faith, moved to Indiana. And, initially when he first mentioned Indiana, I was like, what?
Exactly.
I was like, no one goes to, it's a state.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, in my mind, no one goes to Indiana.
Listen to me. I'm from Indiana, and I'm wondering, like, you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
Most of us are dreaming to come over to you.
Yeah, I'm like, no one goes to Indiana.
Yeah.
But, the dutiful wife.
Yes.
I'm going to move wherever he moves.
I like that.
The song, wherever you go, I go. I move with my husband.
Yes.
So, along with him, we uprooted and we decided to move to Indiana. Like I said, my degree is in business administration and computer applications.
Yes.
I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. Then I got a certificate in medical billing and coding. Did that for a while.
Yes.
And then got tired of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we decided to open a retail store.
Yes.
So that's where we started into business, is opening a retail store.
Now, what kind of retail store were we selling?
It was in New Buffalo, Michigan.
Okay. Very familiar with that.
Yes. It's called Del Sol Color Change. Basically, it's summer attire. So it's like color changing clothes, apparel,
right.
Toys, and so forth.
Yeah.
And we did that for a couple of years before.
Once again, you all are some travelers. Who ends up in New Buffalo, Michigan instead?
Yeah.
Unless you're going to the Four Winds Casino. But go ahead.
I know, right? So we did that for a couple of years until the owners of the property decided to sell, and then we decided to just shut things down for a bit, and here comes Dickey's.
Yeah.
We realized that it closed down. I know there were several locations, one in Highland.
Yes.
And Highland, and then another one further up in Schererville, and we realized that they closed.
Yeah.
And at that time there was only the one in Portage that was still open, and then we decided we need one back in this area.
Mm-hmm.
My husband, he came to me and he's like, I really like Dickey's, and I'm like, oh gosh, do I really have to cook? And he was like, I don't think you really have to cook much because it is a franchise.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, let's look into it.
Yeah. And
we did that. Went down to Dallas for a weekend, did what they call a discovery day.
Right.
Met with some higher ups in the franchise. One of the, I guess that would be the CEO,
right.
Mr. Dickey himself. Met with Mr. Dickey, and came back at that weekend. We made it a weekend getaway for us and the kids. And we came back and we did a lot of soul searching, a lot of praying, a lot of discussions, and came to the realization that this is something that we could do.
Now, we're talking with the Reed family. They are the proprietors of Dickey's Barbecue over in beautiful Schererville, Indiana, and we're so happy to be introduced to them today and learn their story. They're a wonderful couple. I'm enjoying this conversation. Also, kind of, I've had some people on here. Mr. Bridgman, you might have heard of him. He is a former basketball player, one of the owners of one of the most lucrative or number of Wendy's and restaurants and things like that. I've never had the opportunity to talk with somebody who has gone into franchising. I think a lot of people have always kind of flirted with it, thought about it. Mm-hmm. I've actually inquired a couple of times about it. Tell us about that process, because I've heard it can be a little bit trying at times at the very beginning, because there are specifications that you have to operate your franchise at that fit the brand loyalty. I mean, for the brand loyalty. So tell me a little bit about that, Mr. Reed.
So I guess,
what was the first step?
After,
of course, clearing it with your wife.
Well, you basically have to have your paperwork in order, have your financials in order.
Yeah.
Your credit score. Your what is it? Your wealth, not your wealth, but your net worth.
Yes.
So
because there's a benchmark that they want for you to even come into it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So and that was an eye opener for me in terms of what net worth means.
Yes.
Because you hear all these athletes and superstars have a net worth.
Right.
You have to have assets.
Yes.
To put up, because they want you to have skin in the game. At
least
the banks want you to have skin in the game. So we did our due diligence, and we kind of had like the infrastructure behind the scenes, not realizing what we had.
Right.
Until we put it on paper. So once we checked the box in that space, we decided to take another leap of faith and become an entrepreneur. Because for me, like I said, my whole career was all oil and gas
Yeah.
science.
Yeah.
You know, I went to the University of YouTube to learn about business. That's what I call it.
Now, what was your undergraduate degree, real quick?
Chemistry.
I figured it was chemistry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
You know, I actually, some of my virtual mentors are like Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Joyce Watkins, Umar Johnson.
Yeah, we see. I see what you're doing over there. We're gonna have to talk. You got to come on another show because you know where I can go with this stuff. Right. You listened at the beginning of this show.
Yes.
So and on the other side, you know, I have John Maxwell,
yes.
Jim Rohn, you know, Robert Kiyosaki. So I basically changed my mindset. Before 2016, I guess I was just like anyone else in the Matrix on a hamster wheel,
yes.
going to work, watching ESPN sports and highlights. Right now, you know, I can't tell the last time I saw sports. It's always CNBC, the stock channel.
I got you.
Investment opportunity. So my whole vision and lifestyle has changed.
Yeah.
It's a gradual transformation to where I am and where I want my bloodline to go, plus the community, because not me alone, because you know, the current young employees I have at the store,
right?
You know, I'm data dumping. Everything I know, have experienced, I'm sharing with them.
Yeah.
You know, because I want them to become superstars. You know, you have 16, I have like a couple 16-year-olds and a 17-year-old.
Of course, yeah.
I want them to be, you know, beast mode by the time they're 25.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's the thought process.
And of course, going back to the financials real quick, please tell me you did not put anything in FTX, the crypto.
Oh, no.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later as well. So you go out here and you go through the franchise process. Mm-hmm. You're awarded, you're awarded the franchise. They say, sure, come on. I'm sure you get your financials in order. You do the paperwork.
Yeah.
What happens then? Because I've always kind of heard or assumed even that there's some kind of corporate conference or something that you have to go to with other franchise holders in order to kind of learn. Yeah, I mean, because I've heard in particular, like with the owners of the Black McDonald's Association, you got to get meat from their distributors. You have to, do things right down the line.
So that was easy for us because I like to follow like standard operating procedures and script. I guess from
of course you're
career.
A scientist.
So following that cadence was easy for me.
Yeah. Now, how important was it to have in your back pocket your wife right alongside of you, who's a business management major? Well, I mean. She understands those financials.
She is the center of everything. Dan is the center of everything. Even when you look at our logo, which is GEMC, GMSE. When you look at the logo, her middle name is Maureen, and it's a big M.
Yeah.
Because she is the center of everything.
I like that.
So yeah, Diane basically, while I was working, she was the one in all the meetings of the construction, reading the drawings.
So you built it from the ground up.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Diane, she was in there with all the contractors and the meetings on a weekly basis, going through the timeline, getting all the supplies, the equipment. So now Diane can read electrical drawings and plumbing drawings.
Right.
Something I've never seen or done before.
Yeah.
I'm like, now I'm like, okay, now I can read what this is.
For me, was interesting. I saw this as a gift from me to her.
Yeah.
Instead of buying a car or buying a ring, I bought her a business.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get her like 8 doors maybe in the next 7 years or so, but we'll see.
Now let me ask you, because as you're going through this process, there are a lot of moving parts. Now you've already gone through the franchise part. You're building it up, as you said, from the ground up. You're getting all that taken care of. But now you got to deal with the city of Schererville because you are establishing a business within those city limits. There's zoning. There are all kinds of rules that cities have. Explain about how it was to learn how to navigate that.
Well, actually, that was not too difficult to handle. Everything basically happened after the build-out was done.
Yes.
So initially, there was a few paperwork, things that needed to be filled out, but everything was completed after the build-out was done. As far as because we do sell beer, we had to get our liquor license. We had to get building permits and
health
and the health inspections and the registrations and but that part was the easy part.
Yeah,
that was easy.
Now, what was the hard part?
The hard part was just the actual meetings and getting the contractors together.
Oh my God!
When the one contractor bailed on us just at the very start, we had to scramble to get another, get another one
and stay on that timeline
and stay on the timeline. And when things started falling through the cracks or I had to really jump on everyone and hey, we got to get this thing going, and no one is gonna try and play around with us. We got to get this thing going and, you know, get it together.
Yes, contractors are notorious for that.
It was crazy. Yeah. It was crazy.
Another difficult part was when we signed the franchise agreement, it was before COVID. It was January of 2020.
Oh, yeah.
And then COVID.
And I know you're looking at each other like, everything stopped.
Are we doing the right thing? Should we stop?
Yes. And so how long during that time, I'm trying to go in my head with the timeline, before you all could restart? Because I'm sure that put a lot of things. You never stopped.
We never stopped.
Yeah, we wrote it through. You know, there was delays because of our supply and demand.
Exactly.
Where you had the global resignation of folks, but we never stopped the process.
So what were you all doing during that time? Because I'm sure were contractors allowed, or were some of the people working on site allowed to still work?
Well, we didn't actually start construction or build out until I think it was May or June of 2021.
Right.
21.
Yeah. So we signed our franchise agreement in 2020.
Okay.
So between 2020, January 2020 and May of 2021, we had lots of meetings and again, going through financials. And the longest part to me was the financial.
Yeah.
Because we got an SBA loan, and that was the longest, and they want everything, including the kitchen sink.
Exactly.
So, yes.
It's the government.
They want everything. So that was the longest part of getting the funding.
Now bring us into now you've got the buildings that you're ready to open, and now let's get to the part. I'm curious about this because, you know, we've heard in the past couple of years about the employment market now, the labor market. We see people some people say don't want to work. It's very hard to find workers. And then in particular, even before the pandemic, a business like yours, fast food and the restaurant industry, very high turnover. It seems like you're always training somebody, and then once that person's trained, they're there for a minute. Now they found something better and they're gone. What kind of environment have you created? And I heard you talk about some of the young people that you're probably introducing them into the job market for the first time. So what kind of culture have you all created, and how are your workers?
I'll say we created a family environment.
Yeah.
We made it into a family.
Yes.
So, you know, we help with homework.
Oh.
We do tutoring.
Yeah.
Life skills. You know, we have a lot of young men.
Exactly.
So,
I guess the thought process of the vision that we have is not just to get employees.
Yes.
You know, it's to build the community.
Yeah.
And like Diane said, you know, we tutor. You know, I'm tutoring chemistry, math, whatever it is.
Oh, where were you when I was in high school?
It's not just.
I would have worked there. You'd help me.
Because, like I said, it's also to give back.
Yes.
Because if I had a mentor like me when I was, you know, in my teens,
right?
You know, I've been maybe farther ahead. So, you know, with the
young chemistry guy who worked at oil and gas and owns his restaurant, you've done pretty good for yourself. Go ahead.
So the thought process, like I said, you know, to be at 25 or fresh out of college or what have you, and have a title of supervisor in your resume,
right?
That's gonna look good.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm gonna teach them, you know, management skill, leadership skill, conflict resolution. You know, I'm going to build these youngsters up so they can be, you know, full-blown professionals.
Right.
You know, I'm targeting age 25.
Yes.
So not because they you know, will graduate from high school and then go to college. I'm going to stay in contact with them because I see them as the future. They're going to be the future entrepreneurs, the future directors, future managers, etc. And the thought process is, yes, go and work for someone for X amount of years, but you have to establish your own business.
Right.
Be your own entrepreneur. If you own X amount of doors, if you own a boat dealership, car dealership, you have to have some type of business.
Yeah, you know, you say something, and I think a lot of us, or a lot of people, take it for granted. We've talked about it on the show, but, you know, in addition to obviously getting your first introduction into the workforce, your first job when you're a teenager teaches you how to deal with the public. And a lot of times nowadays we see a lack of customer service, as it were. And so is that something that you emphasize during the training? Because there's something cool about you, because if I was working for you and I was a young person, I would be paying attention. I could come out. This could be somewhat of an internship for me as well as employment. So do you go out here and emphasize customer service? Because there are a lot of young people, because I always talk about it on this show, they grew up different than we did. Their heads were on a phone. They grew up Facebook and Twitter and all that was in existence. They text each other. They don't really have face-to-face conversations. And so the concept of really dealing directly with the public sometimes escapes them. And so you really have to teach an obvious skill. Tell us about that. Has it been challenging with some of your employees or some of the people that maybe have come and gone?
I don't know, because I like challenges.
Yeah.
You know, I see myself as a servant leader.
Yes.
And if, I see an endpoint, because it keeps targeting 25. I know, and I've told the parents of the kids who we hire, this is a safe place for them to learn.
Yes.
They can make mistakes. Don't burn down the place, but you can make mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. Yes. Move on. Mistakes are going to happen.
Right.
But learn from them and move on.
Right.
So this is a safe place for you to develop.
Now, how?
So I understand. They understand that, and hey, they'll spill stuff, mess up, overcook stuff.
Yes.
It's like, listen, honest days pay honest days work. We just gotta set the timers, follow the standard operating procedures,
right,
and move on from there.
I like your value. I like the values that you all are bringing into this community, because I think these young people, I think the customers and everybody in this environment is going to benefit from you being here. So let's talk a little bit. I know we don't have that much time, but tell us about the menu for those people that are salivating right now, waiting for you all to open up. Is it traditional barbecue? Tell us about the different varieties. Is it just pork? Do you do beef? Do you do turkey? I mean, tell us about your...
Okay, so first off, we don't grill, we smoke. Oh. We have a smoker on site where our brisket and our pork is smoked overnight.
Yes.
And when we get it in the morning, we take it out. So that's why it's nice and tender and moist.
Yes.
Our other meats, we have chicken breast, we have turkey, we have sausages. We sell Polish kielbasa sausage and a jalapeno cheddar sausage.
Oh, my goodness.
And we also have, like, wings.
Yes.
And
do you have a cot in the back for people when they stay overnight?
I keep saying I'm going to get one. I keep saying I'm going to get one. Also for our sides, we have mac and cheese, green beans. We have a baked potato casserole. We have creamy spinach. We have fried okra. We have onion tanglers, which are like thinly sliced onion rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please tell me how many people can you see? Because, I'm going to have to sit down in your place for a couple hours.
36 capacity.
Maybe more. We can, I think about 60. We can hold about 60 people.
Yeah.
And another thing we're trying to do, too, for the regular customers.
And then you're serving beer, too. So I would never leave. Go ahead.
Yeah, another thing we're trying to do for regular customers is actually name or a dish or a meal after them. Like this one insurance guy next to us, Omar.
Yeah.
He has a modified chicken breast sandwich that includes obviously chicken breast, shredded cheese, buffalo sauce, ranch dressing, sliced onions, and pickles and onions. And we call it Omar.
Yeah.
And since this is
tell Omar that the Jeff is coming. I got a recipe for you all. Omar. I got something.
And actually, I think it was yesterday or the day before, one of his customers who were renewing the insurance policies with him came over and said, "Hey, I'd like to get the Omar."
Okay. All right, Omar.
Okay. So we are going to try and brand that, and the thought process right now mentally is, take a picture of Omar, a little background of him, show his sandwich, and post it on the wall.
I like that.
That's the thought process to make the store more, have a sense of community.
Yeah,
again.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, you put them on my crosshairs. So let me ask you about your hours of operation, because as I said before, there are people right now that are just salivating. It's going to be a little cold. Why not have a little bit of barbecue in the house while we sit around and watch Christmas movies? So tell us the hours of operation, and then tell me your holiday hours as well. And do you do catering?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So our hours of operation are, we open daily 11 to 9. We only close for Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, and for us, New Year's Day.
Yeah.
But every day we're open 11 to 9. So
real quick, if somebody wanted holiday orders, how much earlier do they need to make?
They need to get those orders in like yesterday. Yesterday. Because as of yesterday, we actually sold out of Cajun fried turkey.
Oh, no. Oh,
no. Yeah, we actually, So we do have our holiday caterings coming up.
Yes.
And we have Cajun fried turkeys, we have smoked turkeys, we have spiral ham, and for those that are on, the splurging side, we have prime rib.
Okay, yeah.
So
you'll find me hanging out on that side.
And we do have our complete feast, and we have our dinner feast.
Yes.
So our complete feast comes with either a ham, one of the turkeys, or the prime rib, and it comes with cornbread dressing, gravy, baked potato casserole, green beans, and dinner rolls, and that feeds up to feeds 10 to 12 people.
Look at you.
Okay, and then we also have the dinner feast, which you can get the ham or either turkeys or the prime rib, and it comes with the cornbread dressing and gravy and the dinner rolls as well.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. And if you decide that you don't want all of that, you may just want to do the a la carte. You can get the turkeys by itself, or you can get any sides by themselves.
Yeah.
Or you can get pies. We do sell pumpkin pies and pecan pies.
See, listen, and with all due respect to both my grandmothers, I never thought this couple from St. Croix would come in here and make me throw out all of their recipes and start to fiend for your stuff, but that's exactly what I'm doing. First, give us the phone number, please, and the location of your establishment.
So we're located in Schererville, Indiana, 1505 US 41, Suite A6 and A7.
That's Indianapolis Boulevard?
On Indianapolis Boulevard. It's the Crossroads Shopping Center, where you find Walmart and Strachan Van Til.
Yeah.
We're facing 41 directly across the street from Red Robin.
Yeah.
And right next door to the new Portillo's.
Look at you. You all got some prime real estate that you built on.
Our phone number is 219-440-7650. You can find us online, www.dickeys.com. Just use the locator and search for Schererville.
Yes.
We also do third-party vendors. We use DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. If you don't feel like coming out the house on these cold nights, just use one of those third-party vendors and order in.
Yeah.
And we also do caterings.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a new big thing, especially for the holidays. We do caterings. If you decide you don't want to do your holiday feast, you can order anything off of our menu for catering.
Yeah.
You can call the catering hotline. The catering hotline number is 866-227-2328.
Oh.
It's 1-866 barbecue.
Yeah.
So that is 227.
Look at you all.
Yes.
1-866 barbecue.
1-866 barbecue, and it's barbecue with a C.
Yeah, Texas, I'm gonna call it like a crisis line. I'll be crying over there with my order.
In Texas, barbecue is spelled with a C, not a Q.
Okay.
So again, 866-227-2328 for catering.
Let me tell you, this has been an absolute pleasure. Definitely go out here and partake and get you some barbecue from Dickey's Barbecue. Thank you very much. I'm telling you, we need to talk again. Your story is absolutely amazing, and I appreciate what you're doing and bringing to the community. And just keep it up. I will be a supporter of you as well.
And lastly, we are still hiring.
Okay.
Yes,
all
absolutely.
Right.
We're always
I'm not
hiring.
too proud.
Yes.
I'm not too proud. I'll go over there. Teach me something.
Yes. Send everyone our way. We would appreciate it.
All right. With that is the Reed family, of course, owners of Dickey's Barbecue. We very much appreciate it. We're not done yet. We're about to go segue to one of our good friends, another restaurateur who's doing great things in the region. Of course, we're talking about Miss Jocelyn Kelly of Jay's Breakfast Club.